everybody. Welcome to We'd Rather Be Reading. I'm Jerrica.
And I'm Lia, and it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd Rather Be Reading, and we read this week. Actually, we listened to a shit ton of books this week, but we read.
I did some reading, actual reading too, though. Yes.
And we also got famous on Twitter.
So famous, so famous. I have like shaken wrist syndrome here from all the notifications.
When we had 7 followers, we told each other we were famous. And then we had 47, and we were like, we're almost at 50. We're famous.
Oh my god.
And then overnight, we got to over 300. But like now we're on the way.
But
now
we're
it's no
like
longer a joke.
Superstar, you know, everyone knows our name kind of thing.
Our egos are blowing up.
Out of proportion, fully out of proportion. But you know,
we should not feel this way, but we do.
We should not.
We're just such nerds of books and all the genres that we read, and we're just so happy that people also read and people read and they accept our obsession. So
yes,
that's the best part of this, is finding a community of like-minded people.
Yes, and we are very excited about some of the book suggestions we received on Twitter. There's some gems there.
I know.
But we're going to have to put down the books we're reading to go through this list, though. This is going to be
I highlighted some of them. Yes. I was like, dragon, check. Pirate, check.
Does it have fairies? I'm there. Vampires? Give them to me. I'm on board. Yeah, it's great.
Is there someone naked on the cover? Okay, we'll read it.
For sure. I love naked covers.
But this week we finished reading A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova.
We did. And I really enjoyed this book.
I know.
I really, really did. And I kept texting you going, I really like this book.
I know. But I was so behind you, so I'm like, don't tell me about it.
But it was so refreshing to finally have a main character that does not just talk down on herself, that does not give up everything for the chance of love, that does not just see a guy and go like, screw the rest of my life, let me follow him and see what he's doing.
Yeah. Are you a king? Fine, I'll be your queen.
Exactly. You gotta treat me like chick, doesn't matter.
I can be a queen.
Can I be a queen? Yeah. No, it was refreshing. Luella was refreshing.
I told you, Lou, in the beginning, I was like, we're friends, this girl, we're going to be friends with her. And when I finished the book, which was like a week after you finished it, I wrote to you, this is a good story. Like,
it was.
Really, truly, like, there's not like a whole lot of like nitpicking things that I would do with this at all. It was a good story. She was a solid main character, had a mind of her own. She didn't make too many bad decisions, which a lot of these MCs do. And he was surprisingly also very compassionate and considerate, considering he was like this shadowy, dark king.
And there was explanations for all the bad things he did. There was always an explanation for why he did it. It was like in his upbringing and the way he's been raised, and and he learned from his mistakes too. He wasn't just like, I'm gonna be a jerk throughout this whole thing, and she will like me anyways. Like, there was a lot of him on his shit.
Yeah,
like, all the
I was going to
time,
say there's communication. Great. They communicated.
Yes. I actually had my final note on this book that I actually took notes this time, which is good because, you know, I have no memory otherwise. I wrote, she was a genuinely good character, connected with the other characters well. And I really liked her relationship with Elders, but also her budding relationship with Harrow.
Yeah.
And how she got him to trust her.
The brother.
How she got him to trust her. Yes.
Yeah.
Got him, her, this way, that way. And I liked Rinny. I liked their relationship. I liked that it was like they actually a female friend that wasn't just all about let's gush about the boys.
Sure.
Like there was actual other conversations.
And no betraying.
No one betrayed anyone. It's fantastic.
Mm.
Apart from that jerk in the beginning, Luke. But, you know, we didn't see him come back. So
but I do feel that it was kind of harsh, the way she was like, put him in jail. Good, he's gone forever. It's like, but he did it because he was trying to protect you. Like, there's another perspective here. Yeah. But I feel the same way about the Court of Throne books by Sarah J. Maas when they just shoved Tamlin out the window. Spoiler alert, good lord, if you if you ever read the first and second books, I'm so sorry for this spoiler. But she just threw Tamlin. She was like, I'm done with you, don't you know? Never look at me again.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was not enough communication there to agree and let that relationship like go. It was not like signed, sealed,
No, maybe
resolved.
they should have done like maybe another scene where they could have talked to each
Just
other.
one more.
But in
I
a
feel
way,
the same way in this
kind
Elf
of
King
feel
one.
like it. I'm talking about the Elf King, but
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
also like. In a way, it was good because he made all of these decisions for her without consulting her.
Yeah.
Because he chose to hide her magic. He chose to hide her and actually put the whole town in danger, put the whole elf realm in danger. He made all of these choices without consulting her. And then he goes, I love you, and now we're going to get married. He didn't freaking even ask her. Like, he made so many assumptions throughout. Right. So maybe it wasn't too kind of out of the blue that she would just be like, screw you, this is...
No, I understand. It was like rightful that she was mad at him, but I wish there was a scene where she would have a conversation, because she had so much communication with every character throughout this book, to feel like that was resolved and we could let it go and even maybe be mad at him for what he did. They should have had like a scene in the jail where she went and was like, you betrayed me.
Fair enough.
And then he would be like saying something rude and we would be like, fuck that guy.
Yes.
Okay, but let's talk about what the book was like. What's the story?
Yes, what is the story? I didn't take any notes on the story.
No.
I took lots of notes on the first 3 chapters, but we already talked about them, so we're going to have to move ahead here. But she's the human queen.
Yep.
And her role is to go to the elf lands, which are, I forgot what they're called now. What are they called? The elf lands?
I called them elf lands.
No, but it's called Midscape.
Midscape.
That's the one. Okay. And Midscape is dependent on the human queen to regulate the seasons. Her magic regulates the seasons.
She's the natural balance.
Yes.
For their unnatural state of immortality.
But there's a fairly simple solution to not having a human queen, as we learn here. Because she fixes it. I mean, she solves it. There's been 3,000 years of human queens, but she comes along and she fixes it in 2 months?
3 months. She had 3 months.
In 3 months, which is quite impressive, honestly. But it is also understandable in a way because she was discovered so late, so she wasn't raised to become the human queen. Right. Whereas if she would have been found earlier that she had the magic, then she would have been prepared for this role, and then maybe she would have gone into it with more of, okay, this is my future, this is what I'm going to do. But now, because she kind of gets thrust into it, and she wants to get back because of her sense of duty to the people back in her hometown, she is really keen on looking for a solution. And it also goes with her personality. She seems very solution oriented. Like, she's a healer, she wants to fix things, she wants to fix people, she wants things to be healthy and happy. And this world, Midscape, is not healthy and happy. And her maintaining the balance actually hurts her a lot when she has to sit on the throne, and it drains her magic and it hurts. So and then there's also the love story with the elf king Eldest, and
it's a good name, Eldest.
I liked Eldest too, and he's got the long shiny black hair.
I'm not so into that. I gotta say that the cover where he's like very hot, the guy, I would say, like super hot in the cover of the book. But then at the same time is like the hair. Oh no, not this book. The cover is not hot.
No,
he's like
what are you
gray and wispy. I'm talking about the next book that we read together. He also has long shiny black hair, and that's when I said to you that you gotta let go of the shiny long black hair, guys. When you describe a man having inky hair, my like chastity belt straps on.
Whereas I'm like, I like this. I'd run my fingers through it. It'd be nice and silky and long and black and inky. I'm on board.
Okay. I'm so glad we have opposite opinions in men.
Yes. Yes, we do not share the same taste in men here, which I think will serve us better in life.
Yeah. Inky black hair. They fall in love, but it's a slow going build. It's a builder. But then when it builds up and they actually finally find this mutual communication and mutual interest, sexual interest in each other at this cabin, where he's finally giving her some compassion and a break too from duty, because he was like, do your job, but then he took another spin and said, all right, let's take a break and take it from a new perspective. Let's go to this cabin where all these other people were before, all the queens were before, that were taking a break. And when she was there, they fell in love.
Yes.
And they make love. And then they don't stop.
No.
So we call sex scenes section scenes because of my very prude phone. and autocorrecting it. So the section scenes here, it was good. It was of course tasteful. It was not a smutty section
here,
scene.
no, it's like, this is, I highlighted parts of this,
Nice.
right? Yeah, he goes, I can leave, yet as he speaks, his body contradicts him. He continues to kiss me. His hand hitches up my shirt, sliding over the plane on my stomach. How I've longed for him to touch me there again. Leave and I will find you, I whisper breathlessly in reply. Leave me here unsatisfied and yearning and I will hunt you down. All this. I was like, this is amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I will say that every time my husband puts his hand up my shirt, it's like, you leave me in this spot, I will murder you.
Yes. Yeah, I will hunt you down. You leave me yearning? No, I highlighted some sections in this because I found it fantastic. Like,
tell us about it.
No, but little things about wild magic makes me envious of its blatant disregard for logic. I like that. Because magic and logic, not quite the same. Yeah, you know.
So super summary was that there is a human world and an elven world, and they are combined by having a king and a queen of each land to be able to find the lands both prosperous together, and this has been going on for 3,000 years. The human queen gets found really late. Her name is Luella, or Lu. And she sort of gets forced into this relationship with the elf king, but it's a slow burn until they find true meaning in their relationship. And that only happens when they solve the curse by this very simple thing of her planting something that's connected to the throne in the elven world from the human world. So that natural balance just continues to flow from the human world to the elven world, which is pretty simple. Like, she even says that in the book. This was a simple thing, and it took so long for them to figure out. So in order for them to find the relationship solid, she had to leave to go and do that, and he had to let her go, and that gave her choice.
Yes.
How about that?
And I did read this. Like, I finished the books, I've highlighted sections, and I love how Luella stood up for herself all of the time. And she didn't compromise on her beliefs. And I so wished throughout this book that she would have given up on her incessant want to return to captain. I'm like, no, you do not want to return there. Stop it. You don't want to be healer and freaking captain. You want to be married to the elf king. I know you do. So, you know, stop fooling yourself. And I wish she would have given it up earlier. But then, on the other hand, the fact that she clung to this and she actually had to solve it and go back and actually be like, okay, I'm back. I'm going to try to do life here. And then realizing very fast that this is not what I want. I want to be with him. And the fact that it was a freely made choice to choose to be with him, I really like that, because I struggle, as you may already know, with the mating bond and the we belong together thing. So that's what I had on this book. I really enjoyed the choice and the fact that it was not forced.
But overall, this is a standalone story.
Yes.
But there are other stories within this world that continues on. But we highly recommend this book for a romantic fantasy, fast read. It has all of the things that you want in it, including choice.
Including choice. No democracy this time.
No democracy.
Unfortunately, you know, and no
love triangles. How much
So
I was
hear this.
desperately sad
No
about
democracy and no love triangles, and we're still recommending this book.
Yeah.
So this is high praise here.
Exactly. So, if you haven't read it, again, this is A Deal with the Elf King by
Elise Kova, and we really recommend it. Yes.
And now moving on to our next book that we are reading for the week,
which is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair.
Yes.
Sinclair.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is a
retelling of the Hades and Persephone story.
Yes. So it's Greek mythology in modern time is my first super summary.
Yeah.
And basically it's the story of Persephone, who's a new god. I would place her age around 20-ish years old.
She's graduating college, so I thought she was around 22, but I think they mentioned some really young age in there, like 19 or something, and I was like, I'm going to ignore it.
Yeah, no, I think she's slightly older. I think she's around early 20s, I would say. But she's a goddess, so clearly goddesses can be born recently and still make it into mythology in this story. Let's not dwell on this because this will drive me mad. And Persephone has been isolated by her mother, but now she's living on her own. She's
In
going
this mortal world.
She's going to college and she's about to take an internship at this newspaper. And this all takes place in New Greece and New Athens.
Yeah.
So we are very much in still the ancient Greece, but in modern times things. Her friend, who does not know that she's a goddess.
No.
No.
That she lives with.
I wasn't sure about this in the
Alexa.
beginning, so I had lots of question marks after this. Takes her to a nightclub, which is owned by Hades, who's the god of the underworld.
And he uses thousands of thousands.
He's a million
you're right.
Million years. And he's filthy rich, and he likes gambling people for their souls. This is what we learn in the first a little bit here. And when she spots Hades here at this club, she doesn't know it's him. But clearly, obviously, she sees this guy and she's like, whoa, so hot. All that inky black hair.
This is the inky black hair.
Inky black hair. And he obviously sees her and goes like, whoa, I like myself some 20-year-olds, even though I'm a million.
That age gap is a little frightening, but we go with it because they're gods. We're
going to choose to ignore this age gap too. We have to take some leaps here in our beliefs. I think this age gap is even too big for you. Actually.
It is. It's true. My husband is 10 years older than me, so I approve of the older relationships. Although a million is a bit much. I think I draw my line somewhere around where I'm at.
Yeah, and so she goes up, she gets allowed to go up into the gambling area there of his club where people can gamble against Hades and maybe win something off of him. And if they lose, they will lose their souls to him.
And already right now, she's a teensy-weens ditzy, I would say.
Oh my god, she's not very smart. Persephone is not a bright girl. She's made out to be fairly smart. Honestly, in quite a few sections of this book, they're like, oh, she's such an intelligent, she's so smart, she's such a good writer. But then her actions and decisions kind of do not back this up.
So within the first 3 chapters, which we read before we started to predict what we thought the plot was going to be for the rest of this novel, she goes to the nightclub and she sees this hot guy on the balcony. And she knows this is Hades' nightclub, but she does not even for 1 second think this is Hades.
No.
Then she makes her way to the VIP lounge and sits down at a gambling table and still doesn't think that this is Hades that she's sitting across from.
Oh, he comes and sits down next to her and he's like, do you play? She's like, no. Do you know this game? She's like, no. And he's like, oh, that's brave of you to sit down at this table when you don't know the game. She's like, how else will I learn? He's like, hey, let me teach you. He probably doesn't say that, but so that's what he said in my book.
Slightly tricked into a bargain with him.
And he marks her.
He marks her, and then she's like, oh, is this Hades? Are you really shocked?
Right. So in the first 3 chapters, he marks her. This is pretty much where it ends.
That ends.
And so from this point on, I predict love.
Okay.
Just based on the description and what's happening so far. She will love Hades and he will love her.
Sure.
But it will be difficult with him being all dark and angsty and her being all light and stupid. This is literally the sentence I wrote.
This is the sentence you wrote. Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate.
And then I also predict that there was more to her newspaper thing. She wants to be an investigative reporter, and the paper is making headlines a lot with accusations of slanders and stuff. So I thought that there would be some kind of something with this paper and the fact that they get drawn into court quite a lot. I thought there would be more to the story. This is what I believed. And Persephone's mum is super controlling and she wants to keep her caged. So she will be not very happy that Persephone here has entered a deal with Hades. And I predict that she might even take Persephone away and keep her kidnapped to have them, stay apart from each other. And I'm thinking that the reason she's so against Hades is probably because she might know of a prophecy or something around Persephone. And she's trying to make sure that this prophecy does not come true, but then by acting on it, she will probably force them together and actually make this prophecy come true. And Persephone doesn't have magic, but I think she will get... I think her magic is there. It's just been bound or something. I'm not sure exactly how. And I predict there is already democracy in place here. Because it is a modern story. And I also predict no love triangle. So I'm sorry, Jerrica.
I can't believe it! There's gods and not love triangles? That's impossible.
Well, these are my predictions. You may predict your own love triangles.
So my prediction after 3, I gotta say, is a little bit boring compared to yours. Yours had like a lot more layers and levels of it. Mine was that I predict a mating bond, but that was because she sees him and she's like, ah! And he sees her and he's like,
Yep.
So I predict a mating bond, and then I also predicted that since she's so young, she's going to come into her powers, that Hades is going to help her find her true potential, and that's how she's going to fall in love with him.
Yes.
And that was it. I didn't have any side stories or betraying friends or anything big and twisty, actually.
No, I didn't have anything big and twisty. I thought there would be more to the newspaper, and I guess we're going to find out.
We're going to find out. But before we go, we have to judge a book by its cover.
We do. I almost forgot. Oh my goodness. I am clearly not all here today.
And I love that because now on Twitter, some of you are asking us to judge your books by their cover. And this is going to be a really fun thing for us to do. And then dive into those books and really see if we...
There are 2 covers on this book.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to start with this one, which I think is the audiobook cover, which is...
That's not my audiobook cover.
But this one is the one on Goodreads.
Okay.
Because whenever I go and look at this book and Goodreads, this is the cover I get. It's flowers behind metal or gilded kind of vines.
Okay.
And that's all that's on there. It's a dark background with some purple, pink flowers behind some gilded vines.
And so, if you were to see this cover, what do you think the book is going to be about?
I would think this would be about one of my hated subjects of, plants. It does turn out that Persephone is quite like me, honestly, when it comes to plants. Everything she touches shrivels.
I love plants and gardening, so I love it when characters are into that.
Oh my god.
My thing is when characters are like so amazing at painting, I'm like, come on, no one's that good at painting.
Well,
That's because I'm not.
It's the freaking plants, man. Like, I struggle.
So you think that there's going to be something about plants?
If I had to grow my own food, I would starve to death. This is what would happen.
Oh, Lord. Good thing we're friends. I will make our garden and you could develop some technology for us to move forward in society.
That I will be fed even if I have to garden to do so.
If the apocalypse comes,
all right, good.
Just come over.
Sounds good. I'm moving in with you. And then there's the other cover, which is I guess the audiobook cover.
And this has
Persephone and Hades.
Has Persephone and Hades as humans.
Yes.
Actors taking photos of the book on the book.
Yeah, and this is another thing with the book is that they use glamour to fit in as humans, but they do have a godly form.
Yeah, but this is their human form on the cover of this book.
And we see the inky black hair.
We see that she's blonde and beautiful and voluptuous, and that he
doesn't look a million.
No, but he looks sexy, like with his beard.
He
and
does. Look at that. The way he's looking at her.
He's looking down at her, like, I'm going to devour you. I'm like, okay.
He's got that horrid grip on her arm, though, like.
I'm alright with that.
You.
I'm buying into it. But then I look back and I'm like, oh, he's wearing a hood. That I can accept. Oh, he's not wearing a hood. That's his hair. Done. I'm done. I can't. I'm out. I'm out with the inky black hair. But like, put it in a bun.
I like it.
Put it in a bun and I'll be back on board. Put it down and I'm walking out that door. Bye.
I don't know, man. I can get behind this. I'm on board.
Okay, Leah's into Hades on the cover of this book. So what is this book about that you see these 2 hot people on the cover called?
Oh, with a red background? I mean, clearly it's going to be about sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's steamy, right?
It looks super steamy. This looks like the kind of romance novel that If I were to take the tube anywhere, I would probably not want to show this cover because then people would judge me harshly.
Like no eye contact with people looking down
I'd
while
be
you're
like,
listening.
I'd buy like a book cover. I'd put this in like something serious, like the Iliad or something like that, and I'd be like, look at me reading this super,
I love those. Don't judge me.
like Tolstoy.
Don't judge me.
Like
I'm reading a very sexy book. Don't look at the cover of it, or you'll know.
Exactly. I think the other cover for the tube, the flowers with the gilded vines, I would have probably
That's very acceptable.
That would have been acceptable. This one, people would know I'm reading romantic steamy stuff.
All right, so everyone, you have 1 week to read A Touch of Darkness with us. And send in your thoughts to us through Twitter, Instagram, or by email. And this is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. Can't wait to talk about it next week because it gets really steamy.
Well, judging by this cover, for sure. Bring a change of underwear. Okay, we're all good. Thanks for listening.
I'm Jerrica.
I'm Lia.
Bye.
Bye. We'd Rather Be Reading is an original podcast by Jerrica Saron and Lia Sanfer. Theme music for The Penguins, written and performed by David Allred from the album The Transition, courtesy of Erased Tapes. Please check him out on Spotify and check us out on social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and you can also email us on we'd rather be reading the pod @gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. Bye.